Hello, good afternoon. This is July 17th. I'm Jody Shirami at Astropod_cast. This is Redford. How's everyone feeling today? This is the beginning. Well, this is one of the things that is hearkening in a new society for humans in their pets too, right? Serious about this week. That's very powerful. The main themes that are going to be lasting for decades are beginning now this week. It began yesterday on the 16th, and today's the 17th, and tomorrow there will be a meeting, a transit that we will talk about. But I want to tell you more about the evolutionary cosmic cradle of life is how I'm terming it. And it's at 4 degrees with 4 outer planets. And the number 4 in numerology is the number of foundation. So whatever we're starting right now, this time, is going to last. And it's quick moving because it includes fire and air. And in fire, Aries, Neptune is there. And Neptune is dissolving old identities, allowing for our true, pure self to emerge and activate and pursue our dreams. Leo, who is the spark, is hosting Jupiter, and Jupiter wants more public creation for Leos. Right now, during this time of year, Leo, Jupiter wants you to show your true self, your outward self, in order to help heal others through your confidence. And that is Leo's job here, because Leo represents the sun, and the sun will be shifting into Leo this coming up week. So we have a lot of stuff going on this week. It is unbelievable how much energy is being expended by the universe for our evolution. And then the air signs that are involved in this cradle of life is Gemini, and that is the word, the communicator, ruled by Mercury. And this is where we're going to be editing language, and sudden doors be opening for dialogues, communication with each other. People you couldn't reach before may become available. And then Aquarius, where Pluto is the vision, the person that sees it. Pluto's renewal is renewing the past and giving collectively to bring a new generation to help rebuild support through inspiring others and anchoring the new era of humanity's growth. So Pluto has a very big job. Pluto will remain in this sign of Aquarius longer than any other sign. So it is the leader of what is happening, and Pluto is the most outer dwarf planet beyond Neptune. So Pluto has the most power because it is so far away. And the other thing is that Mercury's retrograde in Cancer this entire time. The configurations and formats starting yesterday on the 16th all the way until Mercury wakes up, which is next week. And so the message here is to pick one thing to focus on that you really, really want to put your energy in because you love it and because it's your dream. And this is what the basket is supporting: individual growth, collectively coming together to begin the age of the Renaissance. So now let's start this weekly report. So today the Virgo moon squares Uranus at 3:44 a.m. and then it conjuncts Venus at 11:05 a.m., which was this morning, all these things. And then this evening it's going to square Mars at 7:22 p.m. Virgo moon here is uncomfortable, and what it is that you want, you desire, will be denied as Mars brings discordant energy that is stuck up to your face and say, what's going on? Let's get rid of this. If it's not doing anything for you, it's taking up space and energy. You can release this discordance in your thinking, in your heart, in your emotions, then you can move forward and and helping you to stop denying things about yourself that you don't want to face. You know, we all have those things, don't we? And innovations can bring demise here, or the tool to release us from the matrix. It really depends on your inner perceptions of what you're trying to bring to the new world. Not the new world, but to the continuing of this world, of this life. We always want to improve and head forward, never backwards and stay stuck. Some things can remain the same, but everything can't be the same. So you either want to help with this peaceful endeavor, or you will be wanting to be overboard and cause chaos. And then tomorrow on Saturday, the 18th, Uranus in Gemini is going to trine Pluto in Aquarius at 7:22 p.m. as their relationships now turn into a supportive relationship, because they've been fighting for about 2 decades now. And so now they're bringing their powers together to bring war, basically, that's going to last for decades, and help, not a war so much as a ability to come together to bring the visions of the collective Pluto in Aquarius and able to communicate with each other so that we can understand each other. And then the Virgo moon tomorrow will sextile the Cancer sun at 7:13 p.m., bringing healthy family day, a possibly nutritious family Sunday meal. That would be a good day. It's definitely going to involve cleaning house or something, you know, because it's Saturday, so you might be at home just trying to neaten up your house and then have a nice meal together. And then on Sunday the 19th, the moon enters Libra at 12:56 a.m. And that is going to be early morning on Sunday. And then it's going to sextile Jupiter at 8:39 a.m. And then it's going to oppose Neptune at 8:55 a.m. And then it's going to trine Pluto at 9:08 a.m. And then it's going to trine Uranus at 9:17 a.m. So the moon is moving around quite a bit, as it always does. And so here we're looking into partnerships that can help to mirror our personal questions that we may have, and growth and need. And here we're learning to trust another, which is a Gemini thing, the other. And basically also learning to trust yourself, because you yourself are your own partnership as well, right? And then later on, Mars is going to sextile Saturn at 2:10 p.m. And this is where I was talking about trusting yourself. Here, you must trust yourself to do things on your own. This is Mars in Gemini with Saturn in Aries. So Saturn is about trying to activate your self-confidence to go forward fearlessly, like a pioneer would in going out and trying to build a new house or whatever they're trying to do. A pioneer could be anyone that is willing to go ahead and forge the trail for themselves and their family. So this is the day that Cam White said it's a perfect Home Depot day with your partner. So you guys can reflect back and forth what it is you like, what do you want to make your house look like. So I thought that was really good. And then Monday arrives, and this is the day that Jupiter trines Neptune at 3:23 a.m. And here's where faith meets imagination and vision expands. So this is the day of the perfection of the barbell basket that are full. The basket's full of trines and sextiles. And Jupiter is going to oppose Pluto at 11:44 a.m., creating sovereignty, facing collective power. Here we want Leo to use its confidence to lead the Aquarius, the people that are just regular people. They're not royalty, they're not anything, they're just us. And then on July 21st, Jupiter sextiles Uranus at 7:10. And then on July 22nd, the sun enters Leo at 3:31 p.m. and officially Leo season begins. Jupiter here will begin its sextile to Jupiter, and this is about growth. And Uranus is always about freedom. So here we're going to have growth and liberation, which are the gifts of Jupiter in Leo. And then on July 23rd, the Sun is going to square Chiron at 11:35 a.m. And this again, the Leo Sun is going to square Taurus Chiron. It's about your inner healing and your sovereignty, in your identity. And as a Leo, you have been born with an ego to know who you are, but because of that you may lack confidence. So here's your chance to do something concrete that Saturn wants you to do, that's long term, that's going to bring you the confidence you need. And then the basket will perfect at 6:57 p.m. and this is where we're at. Mercury is retrograde in Cancer the whole entire time in Cancer. So this is a chance to talk and think about your relationship with your children, with being a caregiver, and if you really want to do it or were you pushed into it. That's a lot of things that people don't think about, but it happens. And then on July 24th at 6:30 p.m., Sagittarius moon will oppose Gemini Uranus, triggering squares with the north and south node as it prepares to leave out of Virgo at 1 degree. And then Mercury in Cancer is going to sextile Venus at 11:12 a.m. Mercury sextile Venus really means that you can have happy thoughts about loving yourself, but don't go overboard, right? And then the next few days, as the basket perfects, we will talk more about that next week when I come back. But these transits are in effect, working for the next end of the month. Marble basket is named after the man who discovered it, and it is a beautiful gift to humanity after a lot of the chaos that went through starting in 2019. Chiron in Aries is a personal wound to Mars, the warrior. And in this context, we've had a lot of things that happened to us since, and mainly being COVID. And during that time, we also had a government in America that was starting to break down our unity, the United States of America. Starting to break that down, and then he's now back in office again, and things are starting to crumble. People are getting murdered on the street by a rogue bunch of, I don't know, military-ish people, call themselves ICE. And it's really broken down a lot of the trust we have in our government, that a lot of marginalized people have always faced, even if they can get themselves into a better lifestyle than their ancestors, they still are punished or blamed for things that occur. So these are the things that have been going on for a long time, and we've never been alive during this time of a basket or anything that's going on right now, because the fact that these planets, in particular Pluto in Aquarius, which is retrograde right now, Neptune in Aries, which is also retrograde right now, and then Uranus in Gemini. So it's 2 air signs and 1 fire sign. And the basket perfects when Jupiter enters Leo and hits 4 degrees, and that initiates the spark from Pluto to Jupiter opposing each other. And here we have the royal having a power over the regular people, Aquarius, that represents people, everybody. And Leo is the sun and has always ruled, as long as we all can remember, in our collective human DNA. So we're at that juncture that happened before, like during the time of the Civil War and the U.S.'s freedom from England, which we just celebrated on July 4th, the 250th anniversary of USA. And Pluto is back in the same position it was in when the United States was formed. Its constitution was signed and it became a republic. These are things that are told by the victors, the story, the narrative, the history. And the victors get to write the books about themselves and tell their stories about themselves. And also be able to rob all of your things that you would like, where Chiron is now in Taurus, recently entered, is how much do you need these things besides the necessities of food and a shelter, right? So again, we're back to the very basics of how to survive as a human. And we've become so complacent. We've allowed things to occur that is now destroying those very foundations that we thought were firm. But it's like a shifting crust of the earth. When there's earthquakes and volcanic activity, the earth itself cracks, pushes up, opens up, explodes. So we know as human beings that nothing lasts forever. Change is the only constant we can count on. And because we know for sure that tomorrow will arrive with the sunrise and tonight will end with the sunset. So these are things that we know for sure, and the elders have been, our ancestors have been studying the stars forever to get answers. And now in modern day society, we have computers, satellites, space settlement up there, space camp, studying, looking for aliens or looking for a place to go, because we've heated up the earth so much that it's going to fail us in terms, or we're going to fail its ability, the earth, her ability to keep us alive. So it's quite a big juncture, you know, and you can hear and see all those past stories we've been told as children really did occur. You know, there were dinosaurs, there were floods, there was a meteor that hit Earth and pretty much wiped out most of the people and animals on Earth. And we're heading towards one of those things again, where any minute eruption or volcanic activity could get out of control. There could be a tsunami, it could be a tornado, it could be all kinds of things. You know, the wildfires, which is all polluting us. What would happen if the whole earth was burning and all we had up there was smoke? We've seen those horror movies, right? So we know what can happen, so we have a chance to stop it. But there are powers that are part of that Leo pack that we're trying to get rid of. And Pluto is stronger than Jupiter here. Get rid of their greed. Get rid of them. Root them out like something we don't want, like cancer. You know, go in there, irritate it, radiate it, get it out of your system so you don't have cancer any longer. So we have a cancer in our system of our humanity on Earth with these people that have existed for generations, like vampires, and that's what a vampire actually is, like vampires, to continue to bring their children to that level, doing what they do to others. So it never changes. And for any of us to get in there, it's like Harry Potter shows you, there is always a secret society, and the person running it looks like they're dead. So this time when we have a revolution, they have AI on their side, and so we get into the idea of iRobot, the Matrix, Darth Vader, Star Trek, Yoda. We need Yoda. So we are at a big precipice in our timeline as humans. The ability to go through an evolution to bring our species to a higher level that could possibly breathe out in space, possibly have aliens here we've already bred with. So there's these things to think about, and it's not who anymore, but with Uranus sextiling, I think it's a sextile, to Pluto, about the paranormal, the spirits that walk the earth that we can't see. It is about aliens coming to visit us, possibly. And the way things are going, the sun is giving us so much electromagnetic plasma energy and coming at us a lot. A lot of us are probably having a hard time sleeping, keeping our thoughts clear, especially Mercury Retrograde during this whole entire time. And that's very interesting. Timing, and I think the universe is very good at that, synchronicity, that Mercury is retrograde this whole time of the Barbell basket as the gifts coming in Cancer. And I've been speaking a lot about the Cancer Capricorn axis that will be active from 27 to 28 years. So it's really nice that we're getting this help from the basket and the outer planets. It's really a dream come true, really, for all of us, in terms of we have the power now in our own hands to do what we want with society and how we want to live. And we can rise up against the rich and powerful. You know, maybe it eventually will change, but as you can see, I've said this many times, is that it's an evolutionary thing, because even as we head into the future, there's going to be enemies as well. And that's what the Odyssey is about. And the Odyssey is out today on the 17th. And the Odyssey is a fictional story. It was not written down because a lot of people couldn't read or write back then. And it was performed in front of groups of people. And it's called oral history. It was the story of Odysseus. And it's changed over the years, and it is fictional. And this is one of the things that I believe Christopher Nolan made the movie and casted it the way it is that we have to get past color and what beauty means for you, what it means for someone else. But one thing is for sure, when you watch the Odyssey and you're staring only at the characters and making your criticism of it, one thing is true is that the reason the story has endured over time is because at the root of it, again, is like Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, where he most likely got some of these ideas from this long poem. And when you look at it like that, and you see that even now, thousands of years later, people are still fighting about the exact same thing, the beauty of Helen of Troy. And that is enough to go to war for. A woman's looks and her beauty, and the thought of her being with another man who could have a different skin, different faith, a different culture than you, enrages you so much that you are willing to start a war. It's not a tale about being brave enough to go chase after a woman that doesn't want you. It's a tale about ego and not being able to release something that you're obsessed about. And the obsession is a real fantasy problem during the age of Pisces. where it's delusional, it's a mirage, it's not real. And the fact that they put in a Trojan horse as a weapon disguised as a gift, these themes are still relevant today in how humankind treats each other. The having power over, wanting to steal what they have, take what they have, willing to murder, willing to have your own men die as well as a sacrifice in war, saying that it is heroic to die for your country, whereas their own sons aren't going to die for their country. It was so heroic, why aren't their sons dying for the country? So these are questions that we were not really made to ask. And so now that we have asked over thousands of years, it still comes back to the same building block. But this time is different. This time we have the barbell basket. And this is a foundation that will not fail us. So it is our chance to really escape these shackles of the rich and powerful who has the need to really play puppet master by selling us food that's poisoned, by getting us addicted to things without knowing why, by poisoning our food, poisoning our earth, poisoning the land, poisoning the air, the water, everything. So this is really our chance to be free. Most of us feel free, right? We feel like we can do what we want if we go get a job. But when you really get out there and you try to get to those levels, you have to have a certain type of degree, certain connections. And why is that? Why can't you be hired based upon your ability to provide what it is they're asking for as the best person for the job? So that's where we're trying to get to, is true equality, not based on anything, but on the person's ability to prove they can do a job. And I would say the person now is not doing their job. Not at all. None of them. None of the people that works for him. None of his party. That whole party needs to disappear. Turn into another name or something. I don't know. But that's it. That's it for today. Enjoy this really nice feeling we're going to get this week. And check out my dailies on Patreon. I'll talk more in depth about the days, because every day is pretty powerful. It can be just an ordinary day in terms of just a feel-good, optimistic day as well. It doesn't have to be any high pressure, any stress, any anxiety over it. It's not going to happen so quickly that you will lose or forget or didn't see it happening. But you still have to be aware. That's all. You have to be aware. And, sleeping's great right now, but if you sleep too much, sometimes you might miss out on certain things as well. So try to keep a good schedule and try to be proactive in your own life. Okay. I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you next week. Bye. Take care. Love you guys. Always spiritual children. Bye.